In this video, I'm going to share why I choose not to eat meat. And before I get into the video, I just want to say I'm so sorry, but I'm no native speaker, and so my English is not the best, but I really try my best. So yeah, let's go into the video. So the first reason why I choose not to eat meat is cruel conditions, because only 95% of all the meat that is consumed is non-organic. So animals live in cruel conditions. So they live in factory farmings, they see no light, they have no space to go somewhere, they simply have their whole lives be in this small room where there's no light, and they of course when you can't move and you all get a lot of food and you can't move, you know, your bones get very weak, so a lot of bones break, and you also get a lot of psychological diseases. And yeah, I think it's super cruel what animals have to live in, and yeah, I do not want to support this. And the second thing is you kill animals. So if you buy meat from a supermarket, it might not seem to be an animal to you, but it was an animal. When you buy, for example, a chicken wing, it was a chicken, and you might not kill the animal yourself, but you pay somebody else to kill the animal, so indirectly you are killing the animal. And I do not want, I don't want to harm another being or to kill another being, and I don't understand why I should take another being's life just so that I can have a snack. So it's, for me, it's just no balance to kill someone just because I want to have a snack, it's just nothing that I want to do. And there are so many options out there, so you don't have to eat meat because yes, as I said, there are so many options already in the supermarket, so it's actually super easy to reduce meat or to stop eating meat. The second thing is that animals feel pain and I believe that humans are not superior, because sometimes I have the feeling that some people think I am allowed to hurt animals because I'm above them, I have a conscience and I have I'm more intellectual, I'm smarter than they are. But when you look at it in a logical way, all those factors that don't justify to kill another being, because when you say, okay, I can kill them because I'm smarter and I have a conscience, you indirectly say if there's a being, for example a child, who is not as smart as me and has no conscience, what babies naturally are, it is allowed to eat babies. And of course it's not, so why should it be allowed to eat animals? And the next thing is that, in my opinion, there's no difference between a pig and a cow. So I don't really understand how we can have dogs as pets or rabbits as pets, and then we choose to eat pigs or choose to eat cows or sometimes choose to eat rabbits. For me it makes no sense how you can love this animal and eat the other animal, because let's face it, where's the difference? I mean, both animals, dog and pig, feel pain, feel fear, feel emotions, want to live. So the only difference is that they look different, but just because somebody looks different or something looks different, it doesn't justify to eat them, in my opinion. And I just want to say that animals feel everything. For example, I have a dog, and my dog is afraid when it's storm outside. My dog feels happy, my dog feels feels every emotion. And so I think it's important to understand that that the question should not be, am I allowed to eat animals or are they able to think? I think the question is, are animals able to feel? And in my opinions, animals can feel and can feel hurt and suffering. And so I think there's no justification in eating them. The next thing that I believe is that the consumption of animals is unhealthy, because first of all, the flesh of animals contain a lot of cholesterol, and cholesterol is something that will clog your arteries, and so it's very difficult for your blood to go through your arteries, and this will lead to heart attack, or this can lead to heart attack and stroke. And yeah, I do not really want this, so yeah, I do not consume it. And the next thing is drugs and antibiotics, because as we said, the conditions in which animals have to live are super cruel and super hard. So in order to survive those conditions, animals are fed a lot of drugs and antibiotics. However, what we have to understand is that those drugs and antibiotics will be in the flesh of the animal. So when we eat the meat, we will indirectly eat those antibiotics and medications. And I personally do not really want to consume any medication or antibiotics when I'm not sick. And actually, recently I just found out that antibiotics really can affect your gut health negatively, as they destroyed the good gut flora in your gut. So they create an imbalance. And yeah, the next thing is that according to my research, meat is highly acidic, so it creates a very acidic environment in the body, and this can lead to diseases as well. And yeah, and the next thing is that, you know, humans get sick, humans get cancer, and animals get sick as well. So animals get cancer as well. And actually, it was really hard for me to see that, but I watched a video and it just showed that in the meat industry, people have cancer, for example, in their legs, and maybe the leg is cut off and the leg is thrown away. However, this does not mean that the rest of the animal is not unhealthy, because I believe just when you have maybe cancer somewhere, it's not that, you know, you cut out this part that you're healthy now completely. And I think it's the same with animals. And I think when we eat sick food, we become sick ourselves. And I personally really love being healthy. And yes, and the next thing is evolution, because according to my research, I found out that we are Homo sapiens, and we developed like 2 million years ago, or maybe even more than 2 million years ago, and only 200,000 years ago we discovered the fire. And those 200,000 years are far not enough time for our body to adapt to eating meat, because let's face it, you have to cook your meat in order to eat it. You cannot, you know, just go to a rabbit, grab the rabbit, kill the rabbit, and then eat the skin and the bones and the flesh and the blood and everything. It's just not what we would do, or I hope that we would not do it. So in order to eat meat, we have to cook it. So the next thing is that we are not designed to eat meat, because there, I think, is a difference between meat eaters and no meat eaters. For example, meat eaters are lions, who have very sharp teeth and a very short colon, and a lot of different enzymes and stuff. And we are much more similar to the species of monkeys. So we have, for example, very, you know, our teeth is not like very sharp, and also our colon is very, very long. And so I think we're simply not designed to best digest meat. And yes, the next point is environment, because 1 kilogram of meat needs about 15,400 liters of water, because, you know, the meat is animals, and animals have to grow up, so you have to feed animals a lot of food and a lot of water just to raise them, you know. And there's the thing with water, and the next thing is with soy. because a lot of soy is planted in South America in order to feed the meat in industrialized countries. And in order to produce those soy, a lot of rainforest is actually cut off to create spaces for planting soy. So yeah, and maybe just for comparison, 1 kilogram of salad are only 240 liters of water. The next thing is methane gas, because greenhouse gas emissions are greenhouse gas emissions contribute more to climate change than the whole transportation sector. And I think that this is huge. This is absolutely huge, because cows have to fart, and it sounds really funny, but it's not funny, because this methane is much more worse for our environment than CO2. So yes, and animals, you know, all the excrements of animals are used as fertilizers. However, all those fertilizers go into our water. At least that's happening in Germany, and it's destroying our water, what we would love to drink. And yeah, I think it's just a huge damage of environment that is super unnecessary. I'm so sorry. And the next thing is world hunger, because it's so insane. Every year there are 20,000 to 40,000 children starving to death. And as I said, for 1 kilogram of meat, they have to grow a lot of plants and a lot of soy to feed the animals. So it's super unproductive and super inefficient, because you can give basically the soy and all the plants to people, and you would be much more, or it would be just much better if you would just give the plants to the people right away. It would be much more efficient, and you know, you could save up to 20 or to 40,000 lives of children. It's insane. And yeah, and the next thing is that markets in developing countries are destroyed, because unfortunately our government is supporting the production of meat. And in Germany, for example, people do not really eat like the feet of animals. So all those things that are not eaten of the animals are shipped to developing countries or to Asia or to Africa. And unfortunately they're destroying the markets, because in Germany the meat is produced very cheap, because we have those huge gigantic machines, and we have the support by the government financially. However, in Africa, a lot of those huge machines are not available. So the meat from the developing countries is much more cheaper, and so so the market of Africa cannot really compete with the market of the industrialized countries. And this is very worse, because a lot of workplaces are lost in this process. So these are just a few reasons why I do not consume any meat, but there goes so much more behind it, and I would really recommend you to just do your own research, do more research, and yeah, just maybe watch some documentaries. There are amazing documentaries out there, like Cowspiracy, Earthlings, Okja, What the Health. Also there are great books out there, like The China Study, or The Starch Solution, or you know, it's insane. And you don't have to eat meat. I'm not eating meat for 6 years, and I'm super fine, super healthy, vibrant. You know, you don't need meat for your health or anything like that. So just, you know, give it a try. And thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and much love.